Let's talk about something almost no one is discussing, but every woman has quietly wondered at some point, what exactly does a man want right after you go down on him? You've just given him one of the most intimate experiences he could ask for. You were vulnerable, confident, generous, and maybe even a little bold. But now it's done. He's lying there, catching his breath. You're sitting there, unsure of what to do next. You can feel that moment hanging in the air. It's awkward for some, silent for others, and confusing for many. They realize that here's what most women don't realize for a lot of men. Right after oral is one of the most emotionally sensitive moments. Not because of guilt or shame, they realize that, but because it steers up feelings they don't know how to express. Most guys will never say it out loud, but they want something more in that moment. Something that tells them this wasn't just a performance, it was a connection. It's exactly what we're going to unpack today. In this video, realize that I'm going to share 5 powerful things secretly want you to do right after oral, but they'll never ask for it. These are things that flip a simple intimate act into an unforgettable experience, not just physically, but emotionally. Things that make a man feel wanted, respected, realize that they're desired and addicted to you. So if you're ready to stop guessing and mastering the moments that matter most, stay right here. Because what happens after can be even sexier than what came before. Let's dive in. Most women don't realize how powerful the moment after oral can be. They treat it like a finish line, that it's done, job complete. Now let's move on. But here's the truth that most men will never say out loud. When it's over, when the intensity starts to fade, and he's lying there catching his breath, that's when he's at his most emotionally open. His defenses are lowered, his body is sensitive, and for a few seconds, realize he's not trying to impress you or hide anything. He's just there, exposed and relaxed, and what you do in that moment. That's what makes all the difference. What men secretly crave, and I mean really crave, not to linger, not rush to the bathroom, not wipe your mouth like you were doing a chore, not jump up like the scene is over. No, what makes a man melt, what creates that magnetic, emotional pull that he won't even understand is when you pause and stay close, when you rest your head gently on his thigh, realize that when you look up at him with that satisfied, playful smile, when you touch his stomach softly, like you're still savoring the connection, that's what tells him, realize that I didn't just do this for you, I enjoyed every second of it. And that hits differently, because to a man, that kind of lingering presence says something no words can. It says that you're safe with me. It says, I'm comfortable with my sexuality and I'm not ashamed of giving you pleasure. It tells him that you weren't rushing to get something in return. You were present, confident, and fully in control of the experience. And that level of feminine confidence, it's irresistible. It doesn't matter how many women he's been with. Most don't linger. Most don't stay. Most give the act. Realize that they're there, but not the intimacy that follows. You become unforgettable because you know the power isn't just in what you do. It's in how you hold the moment after. Even just 5 extra seconds. A soft gaze, playful smirk, a light stroke of your hand across his hip. It builds a type of closeness he won't be able to explain. He'll think about it hours later, days later. He'll crave it again and again, not because of how good you were, but because of how seen, appreciated, they realized that and desired you made him feel in that stillness. Men don't ask for it because they're not conditioned to. But the ones who get it, they know it's rare. And they know you are rare. Realize that so the next time you're in that moment, don't treat it like it's over. Treat it like it's just beginning. Linger. Let it mean something. Realize that because in those few seconds of silence, you just might say more than words ever could. Realize that there's a quiet confidence in a woman who knows how to make a man feel like a king without having to say a single word. After oral, when his body's still buzzing and his mind is still floating, this is the moment where your energy speaks louder than anything else. It's not about being submissive. It's not about stroking his ego endlessly. It's about the way you carry yourself, the softness in your hands, the look in your eyes, the calm, intentional way you move around him. That's what leaves an imprint. Most women think they need to say things like, "That was fun," or "Did you enjoy it?" to show they care. But the truth is, men don't need commentary in that moment. They need presence. They crave the quiet affirmation that you're confident in what just happened, that you're not second guessing yourself, that you're not worried about whether he liked it. You already know he did. And that's what turns him on even more. When you gently kiss his chest, trace a fingertip along his collarbone, or just rest your hand on his stomach while holding eye contact, you're doing something incredibly powerful. You're grounding him in the moment. You're telling his nervous system, without saying a thing, "I see you. I just gave to you, and I'm still here with you." It builds trust. It builds a connection that lingers long after the physical sensation fades. And here's the real secret. Most men aren't used to being treated with that kind of reverence. They're told to be tough, emotionless, and in control. But when a woman meets him in that raw state, right after he's let go of control, and responds with feminine softness and assurance, it hits his soul. You're not just making him feel sexy. You're making him feel safe. You're giving him a kind of validation that no performance or praise could match. It's not about doing anything grand or dramatic. Sometimes it's just the way you touch his arm, the slight smile you give without breaking eye contact, or the way you lay your body next to his like you belong there. No pressure, no rush, no awkward small talk, just presence, just peace. And the wildest part, he probably won't even be able to explain why he's suddenly obsessed with you, why your name comes up in his thoughts in the middle of the day, why he compares every other woman's energy to yours. It's because you made him feel king energy in the most subtle, sensual, unforgettable way. So the next time you're in that moment, don't overthink. Just soften. Just be there. Let your energy tell him everything he doesn't even know how to ask for. Because when you do that, you don't just blow his mind. You touch his masculinity in a way that leaves a permanent mark. There's something unbelievably powerful about a kiss that comes in a moment he's not expecting, especially right after you've gone down on him. For a lot of women, there's a hesitation. Maybe it feels awkward. Maybe you assume he wouldn't want it. Or maybe you've been taught that kissing right after oral is somehow too much, too soon, or just not the norm. But here's the truth. A slow, confident kiss after that kind of intimacy doesn't just break the rules. It creates chemistry that rewrites them. Most men don't expect a kiss in that moment. They expect distance, a shift, a gap between what just happened and what comes next. But when you lean in without hesitation and kiss him softly, like you're tasting the afterglow of your own power, it says something profound. You're not ashamed, you're not shy, and you're not disconnected from what just happened. In fact, you're so comfortable in your skin, so sure of your own sensuality, that you can go from wild to soft without skipping a beat. That kind of kiss communicates layers of emotion without needing a single word. It says you're still connected, that the act wasn't mechanical, that it wasn't just about him, that you enjoyed every moment and you're still enjoying the feeling of being close to him. And for a man, that kiss hits in ways he'll never fully be able to explain, because it's not just about affection. It's about validation. It's about intimacy. It's about the kind of feminine energy that pulls him in even after the peak has passed. There's something hypnotic about that moment. When your lips meet his slowly with intention, after the intensity of pleasure has settled, it creates a space where tension turns into tenderness, where his heart opens back up, where his mind, still floating, suddenly becomes aware of you, not just as someone who gave him pleasure, but as someone who's still here physically and emotionally, and it doesn't have to be long, even just a few seconds. A soft kiss, maybe with your hand gently placed on his face or resting on his chest, is enough to shift the entire energy of the moment. It makes him feel wanted, chosen, important. And that kind of feeling, it doesn't wear off quickly. He may not say it out loud. In fact, he probably won't. But inside, something will shift. He'll look at you differently. He'll remember that kiss, that confident, lingering kiss, long after he's forgotten the specifics of the night. Because that's not something every woman does. That's something a woman who owns her power does. A woman who's not afraid of intimacy and who understands how to turn physical connection into emotional memory. So the next time you're lying next to him, post pleasure, don't pull away. Pull closer, surprise him, kiss him, slowly, confidently. Realize that there, because that kiss might just be the thing that leaves him wanting more of you. Right after you've taken him to that edge of pleasure, there, when he's still lying there catching his breath and trying to process what just happened, most women rush to fill the silence. And usually they do it with pleasing words, sweet, caring, but safe. Things like, did you like that? Or was that okay? And while there's nothing wrong with being kind or seeking connection, those kinds of words are rooted in validation, seeking. They're soft, polite, but forgettable. What really sticks in a man's mind, what actually turns him on again while he's still recovering, is when a woman flips the moment and says something that teases instead of pleases. They realize that think about it, he's just had a release. He's in that hazy, relaxed state. But instead of asking for praise or acting timid, you lean in and drop a line like, that was just the warmer. Or, I wasn't even trying yet. Maybe even something bold like, now you owe me and I collect interest. Instantly, the energy changes. You've pulled him back into your magnetic field, into your feminine edge, not with your body this time, but with your words. This kind of teasing isn't mean, it's playful power. It's you showing him that you're confident, still in control of energy and fully aware of how much you affect him. And most men, they don't know how to handle that because it's rare. Most women don't tease in that moment. They retreat. But the woman who can smile after giving pleasure, throw a sly comment over her shoulder, realize that or whisper something cheeky in his ear as she curls up next to him, that woman becomes unforgettable. He'll be lying there thinking, oh wait, what did she just say? And while his body is trying to relax, his mind will be racing. You've just turned a moment of satisfaction into a spark of fresh arousal. You've made him curious about what else you're holding back. That teasing remark becomes the mental loop he can't stop replaying. And the best part, you didn't need to strip again. Realize that you didn't need to do anything graphic. You used your feminine voice, your timing, your energy. And that's what made the biggest impact. Realize that it's a form of flirtation that builds mystery instead of closure. You're not closing the night, you're opening a new chapter in his mind. A teasing comment at the right time turns you from the girl who pleased him into the woman who left him wanting more. So the next time you find yourself in that post-intimate moment, skip the praise-seeking lines. Instead, let that playful part of you come out. Drop something that makes him smirk or raises his eyebrow. Say something that hints there's more to come. Realize that you're not done, that this was only a taste. Because when you tease instead of please, you don't just leave an impression, you create desire that lingers. They realize that here's what most women don't realize about the moments right after they've pleased a man. Those few minutes, the space after the climax, are often more emotionally revealing and relationship defining than the act itself. And sadly, most women rush past it. They quickly grab a tissue, a towel, head to the bathroom, or start nervously tidying up. Why? Because they've been conditioned to believe the moment is done. The connection peaked and now it's time to wrap things up. But the Proust intimacy window is not the end. It's the beginning of the emotional bonding phase. And if you know how to handle it right, it can make a man fall for you harder than anything physical ever could. You see, most men aren't used to feeling emotionally held in that vulnerable space. After they've had their release, their guard drops, their mind is more open, their heart is more accessible. And in that soft, open moment, if you linger there, if you hold the space without rushing away, it tells him something loud and clear. I'm not just here for the performance. I'm here for you. Staying in the moment doesn't mean you'd smother him or start talking about deep feelings. It's more about energy. It's lying there with your head on his chest. They realize that it's letting your hand stay on his skin a little longer. It's breathing with him. It's being comfortable in silence. It's showing him that you're fully present, that you're not looking for the exit or trying to move on too fast. And this presence, this calm, magnetic stillness there is so rare in today's rushed world that it makes you unforgettable. Men may not say it out loud. In fact, they often don't even consciously realize it, but they feel it. They feel when a woman is emotionally secure enough to stay in the intimacy. When she doesn't treat the moment like a transactional level, when she doesn't spring up or start adjusting her hair or putting clothes back on like she's trying to erase what just happened, because that kind of behavior often signals insecurity or emotional disconnect. But when you're able to just be there with him, no rush, no panic, there's no shame, that's when he truly relaxes into your energy. And here's the secret: when a man relaxes into a woman's energy after being physically satisfied, that's when emotional bonding takes place. That's when oxytocin, the love hormone, kicks in hard. That's when his nervous system starts associating you with peace, connection, and safety. You didn't say anything. You didn't need to perform again. You just stayed. And your stillness became the most powerful statement of all. Now, of course, hygiene and personal comfort matter. And if something needs to be taken care of, that's perfectly natural. I'm talking about emotional timing. Don't be in a rush to leave his arms or fix your appearance. Don't jump into caretaker mode or end the scene. That urge to clean or cover up often comes from a place of discomfort, like you're trying to make yourself presentable again. But the truth is, he just experienced you in your most raw, intimate, powerful state. You don't need to tidy it up. Let it breathe. Those slow, they're lingering minutes where you stay skin to skin, breath to breath, are what stay in his memory. Long after the night ends, long after he's back in his world, that image of you, unbothered, realize that they're confident, sensual, at ease, curled up against him without a carep. That's what he'll remember when he misses you. So don't rob him or yourself of that power. Stay in the moment. Then let him feel not just your touch, but your presence. Because the women who know how to linger after the pleasure, realize that who hold space instead of rushing to fill it, those are the women who don't just satisfy a man, they imprint on him. So let's be honest, what you do after you go down on a man can leave a deeper imprint than the act itself. It's where the emotional tone gets sealed. It's not just about pleasure anymore. It's a presence, that lingering touch, that whispered affirmation, that cheeky smile, that bold move. All of these are what take you from someone who just did something sexy to someone who left him stunned, replaying that moment in his head for days, maybe even weeks. Because here's the truth for men: physical is everywhere, but emotional depth and sensuality, that's rare. And that's what makes you unforgettable. When you take your time and know what to do after the act, you're not just catering to his body, you're imprinting on his mind, his heart. And trust me, most women don't do that. Most rush away, treat. Most miss that golden window. But now you know the moves that make him feel more connected, more respected, more addicted to your energy. That subtle shift in body language, that lingering closeness, that moment where he feels chosen, not just serviced. When you use these tools, you create emotional heat, not just sexual heat. And that's where real attraction lies. So don't underestimate the power of the after, because if you master it there, he'll crave the whole experience all over again, not just for what you did, but for how you made him feel. And if you love this video, make sure to